Welcome, folks, to another episode of the Speak Up Podcast. You're listening to the Speak Up Podcast, and I'm your host, Ashley. And in today's episode is episode 6 of season 2. I'll be talking to Nikita about OCD, otherwise known as Obsessive Compulsive Disorder. Nikita has some personal experience living with OCD, also runs a crafts-based business, Sissy One, which we'll be talking about a little bit later on. And she's also involved with the charity OCD Action. So without further ado, we'll jump straight into the questions. Nikita joins us now. How are you doing, Nikita?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. Are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thanks. I'm very well. Can you tell me, just first of all, a little bit about yourself and why you wanted to come on the podcast?
Yes, so obviously, as you know, I've got OCD. I've had it for as long as I can remember, really. And when I saw that you was doing this podcast, and I just know that it's about important topics, which I think is great. I think the more people that listen and educate themselves through podcasts like this is just wonderful. So that's why I wanted to come on and chat with you and just sort of share my experience a bit.
Amazing, amazing. And you have a diagnosis of OCD, as you've said. Can you tell me where it all started for you?
Um, I think, well, through speaking with my mental health worker, I think we've established that I started around the age of 7. But obviously, throughout school and that, I didn't really know what it was. So I was officially diagnosed when I was 18. And even then, it was still a bit like, I'm not too sure what's happening. I didn't really tell anyone other than my mum. But then since then, I've gone on to learn more about it. My OCD is in the form of checking things and in even numbers, tapping things, which is really time consuming and mentally draining.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I imagine, like you say, it's going to be, is this something that you do every day as like part of like a ritual, or?
Yeah, I've often said if I suddenly woke up tomorrow and I didn't have it, I wouldn't know what to do with myself. Like all that free time that I would gain, it's mad just thinking about that.
Yeah, yeah, I can imagine. You'd have so much free time, you wouldn't know what to do with yourself, like you say. Um, are there any myths or misconceptions about your condition that you'd like to challenge, or you'd like to put the record straight?
Yeah, I think one big one for people with OCD, well, there's two really, is the fact it's not a quirk. The amount of people that throw out, oh, I'm a bit OCD or I'm so OCD, it it's infuriates me because that's not the case and they don't go through what we go through. And the other one would be the minute you tell someone that you have OCD, they jump to the also you're super clean, organised. And whilst that is a part of OCD, there's so many other types of it. So yeah, those two in particular, but I think the quirk one more so, I would like to for it to be put to an end because it's not a quirk, it's not nice. And you see even in shops people selling things like obsessive compulsive Christmas disorder, and it's like they're making off, something serious.
Yeah, no, that's not on at all, really. That's kind of taking the mic a little bit, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you mentioned there's loads of different types as well. And yours is the, like you say, check-in and stuff like that. And the one is like the cleaning one, isn't it? Or where you're overly obsessed with the cleaning.
Yeah.
Um, and there's loads. Uh, uh, and obviously, is yours just purely the checking one, or is it kind of mixed? Or
I mean, everything's got to be in even numbers, and my main things are checking and tapping things. And it follows I'll get an intrusive thought. Sometimes it's very visually graphic, the thought I get, and then I've got to obviously do something to get rid of that.
well, yeah, yeah. I can imagine that's quite distressing as well for you. Depending on the thought as well. Um, So you run a craft-based business, Sissy One. Is there a story behind the name?
Yeah. So I get asked this quite a lot. Some people think I'm called Sissy myself, and really it's nothing to do with that. I wanted something from my childhood. I just thought it'd be nice to have a name that was around something in my childhood. And when when I was younger, me and my brother we used to talk things. You know, like how people talk dolls and such. Do you get what I mean? So, but we wouldn't just do dolls. We'd do like absolutely everything. We'd talk everything. And there was these two plastic golf clubs, which I called Sissy and One. I think I called one Sissy because my brother has always called me Sis, and I just obviously wasn't really imaginative with the one. So whenever anyone says to me like, "What's the name about?" and if I just come out with, "Well, it's two plastic golf clubs," it sounds quite ridiculous, really. But yeah, that's where it's from.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it's quite a unique storyline, really, behind it. To be honest, um, if you could change anything in the world, what would it be?
There's obviously, I mean, there's loads. I'd change the whole ecosystem in being green. I'd want people to take that more seriously with recycling and usage of energy and things. But the other main thing would be just reducing the stigma around mental health, especially like not just with OCD, but a lot of mental health. I think obviously it'd be a struggle to get through life with, struggling with your mental health anyway, but with that stigma attached to it, it's even more difficult. So I would definitely change that if I could.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good one. That's a good one. Definitely. Uh, and who's your idol or your favourite person and why? And why?
This question I found really hard because I was trying to think of like a celebrity and I thought I just don't really know. But I would say personally, my mum, because of how close we are, how she's supported me through everything. But also, I admire a lady called Catherine Benfield. She has OCD herself, and she's got a blog online which is super resourceful and everything. She's also part of OCD Action too. So yeah, her.
Amazing. Yeah. And you said you're part of the OCD Action. Are you an ambassador for them?
No, I'm just part of their Always Better Together project. So I'm a lead volunteer within the support groups. But through doing that, it's got me opportunities like speaking at the conference, which was really insightful and inspiring, seeing so many people and being able to share my own, experience within the community as well. Because I think community is really important.
Yeah, definitely, definitely, especially with mental health and stuff like that, coming together and having that shared sort of experience of what you're going through, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the end of the questions, really, but it's a short and sweet one, but very nice to see you,
Yeah,
and
you too.
nice to have you on the podcast as well. So that's it, folks. I hope you've got something from that, something valuable from that, and I look forward to having you on the next episode, guys. So you guys take care. Bye bye for now.